So just in case she actually did call the police, let's get on record what happened. So I am picking up trash. There was a bunch of cans and stuff strewn about over there. Did 200-liter trash bags full, which made 50 gallons. I don't really know. And as I'm picking up trash, I see a Malinois who who is sort of headed the way of my vehicle, and he's off leash, and his owner is calling out to him. Neo goes outside of the vehicle to see what's going on. He's tied up, but connected to like the door. So he goes out, and the Malinois comes over. Uh, and Neo was great. They sniffed each other and stuff like that. And then when the Malinois was ready to leave, I guess Neo wasn't ready for him to leave. So Neo jumps on him with a growl. Or I don't know actually when the growl happened. I mean, I don't have a recording of it, but sort of jumps on him, and then immediately, because the Malinois isn't as big as Neo, and dogs get scared in Neo, so they're always at him. But he's really good because he doesn't bite back. He just avoids them. He won't necessarily leave them alone. But he'll go like this and then go back to trying to sniff their butt and lick their balls. So but he does have a tendency to want to dominate. But he doesn't hurt them. He'll just want to jump up and ask them to submit. And then sometimes they freak out, of course. They get scared. And then they react. And then he's like, stop freaking out, stop freaking out. And then the owner from far away, while he's going, just chill the fuck out. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And the owner, who is far away, is of course feeling scared. She sees her little Malinois. I mean, when I say little, Google a Malinois. It was about a medium-sized Malinois, so it's not like much smaller than Neo. And so she's scared. I'm sort of calmly being like, chill, guys. But I'm watching, and there's a moment where I was worried that Neo was actually being violent. Looking at the mouths move around. But then it seemed clear to me at some point, I don't know for those few instances, but that Neo was just making a lot of noise, going like this, like the dog is here, and he's like that. He's not actually grabbing the dog. I've kind of had the impression that the dog was snapping at Neo. I mean, actually, but um, no biggie. In any case, I knew that my dog, slightly bigger dog, and the host here, was not hurting the. I think it's a very young dog. I mean, not very young, but 2 or 3 years old. And and so when I finally get over there, I walked over calmly because even if Neo was getting hurt, I knew that he wasn't hurting, or I could see that he wasn't hurting the other dog. At some point, as I'm getting closer, they've actually found a little moment where the Malinois is on the ground like this. Neo is on top of him like this. Got his muzzle away from the dog. He's like this. And it looks like the Malinois understood. Malinois had submitted. Neo had dominated. And I guess that would be sort of the end of it. Don't know exactly what happened next. I know she's yelling and stuff. And I think maybe as I start to grab Neo, the Malinois sees its chance. And this has, of course, happened before, where Neo's calm and the other dog's so scared that it'll take any opportunity it can. When I had Reiki, that happened with him sometimes. Um, it's so funny. Remember that we interviewed someone who said dogs are more irrational? But if I've got Neo, Reiki, or this Malinois, then you need to just go now. You don't need to be biting him and to getting him worked up again. But of course, that's what happened. So I separate them. And then finally, once the dog is no longer on the ground or under Neo, and is fully sort of standing up and stuff, he runs off to his owner. But during that last struggle, the connection point for with Neo's leash and the vehicle snapped. So Neo pursues the dog. And if you're following this story, then you're not thinking, oh no. And then Neo just tore his ass up. Because no, of course not. Neo went over to him, and he had his tail up. Um, there were no further issues. Um, and so this woman's going off on me. Is that your dog? What the fuck? Your dog just attacked my dog. Mm, nothing really happened. I mean, it took 6 minutes to give the details, but so that you know, nothing really happened. She goes, "What the fuck do you mean nothing happened?" And a bunch of swear words that I haven't learned yet, but that really sound like swear words. Um, she was like, "You are a," and then blah 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 blah. And I called her crazy at one point when because I said to her, I mean, nothing. I was like, relax, nothing happened. She goes, what do you mean nothing happened? Your dog was just biting my dog. I didn't know how to say, like, pretty sure it's the other way around. But anyway, so I just said to her, where are the bites? And there was a moment, by the way, either right before I asked that question, where she kind of looks at her dog. She calmed down for half a second. But then I guess she was pretty upset that I kept. Well, I said, where are the bites? And then she goes, I don't remember what she said. And I was like, where's the blood? And she goes, you want to see blood? So I thought maybe she had actually found blood, in which case I need to know that Neo did bite him. Don't know whether I'd be that upset with Neo, especially if I found bites on him. But if I found no bites on Neo, yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. Anyway, so, oh, my wrist. Ah, see, that's from me breaking them out. That's from that other Malinois. So let the police come. Let me just put a little ketchup on it. Look at that. But seriously, my wrist is killing me. Oh no, I think it's just from the trash. Yeah, that's what it is. Just from the trash picker upper. Anyway, so she says you want to see blood. So I go over. Yeah, and he's still not doing anything to her dog, even as I approach with him. And she's like, "You're fucking, you're an asshole. You're crazy, or something like that." And I was like, "Wait a minute, hold on. If there's no blood and you can't show me a bite, that combined with what I think I saw, and the fact that your dog's not doesn't seem injured. I mean, sometimes you don't know with a dog, often, but he doesn't seem to be limping like this or anything. I don't know. Seems to be all right. And so if you're still yelling at me with the information I've got right now with that, there's a problem with you. And also, there's a problem with your dog, by the way. I mean, I'm not mad at your dog. It's probably a young dog. He came over. I mean, that's just, he's going to just learn from, that sort of experience to be careful about approaching big dogs. Uh, especially where their stench is super, super strong. And then also, if you do, and if it goes badly, get out. Um, it's just a part of the learning process, bro. It's just how this shit works, bro. Um, we act like dogs are collection action figures, and if you ever see someone with one of their action figures, playing with yours, how dare you touch blah blah. I mean, again, no blood. I didn't see a bite. If Neo wanted to do harm, he would have gotten in there and like that. I don't think the other dog really wanted to harm him either. He just wanted to, he was like, "Oh, you're big. I gotta." I mean, it's like little dogs. This again was not a little dog, but little dogs. They'll go, and you blah blah, because that's how they compensate. So okay, your dog compensated a little bit. Neo's pretty actually good, where he's a little dog can snap at him all he wants. He's basically just gonna walk away at some point, but he's definitely not gonna attack back. Now, the more he feels threatened, of course, more likely that he also is gonna like compensate. Anyway, so oh fuck my wrist, dude. I don't know whether that's just I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's just use this video. I'm tired, honestly. So let's just finish with three things. I mean, I was supposed to make a video about these three things to get them off my plate, but one, the job of cognitive neuroscience right now maybe could be presented as to understand the neural logic gates. Understand, I mean, I guess more generally, it's about understanding, how neurons in their competitions and cooperations and so on, or collaborations, how they produce cognition, of course, is the thing. But I think a great place to start, we'll say, is how does the brain do and how does the brain do true, false, or exclusive, or, and then if then, I think is just in the very nature of neurons, input, output. And then how they're, yeah. Yeah, but then how if thens are sort of summed or something. Oh my gosh. You didn't tell me. Alright. So, next thing. Ah! Fuck me! Next thing. Big Ben. Um, imagine that. Imagine you're an admirer of Big Ben. And you go to Big Ben. And you're like, geez, I wonder how this magnificent thing like indicates the time. And I also wonder like how, I don't know whether it makes noises, whether there's a bell or something. I wonder how that happens. And then somebody comes over to you and they're like, and they have an analog watch, so they like open it up for you, and you go, well, look, it's gears. I mean, it's obviously going to be bigger gears and probably other systems involved. Let's suppose, I can't imagine it does, but suppose Big Ben has a seconds hand and my watch doesn't. So there's going to be more gears for that. But yeah, that's how it works. And imagine you say, I see how science can explain some aspects of analog time telling or time indicating with gears, but Big Ben? Or maybe you can imagine some super cool Swiss thing where it's got like gears, or I don't know, even you just want to date and, stuff like that. And, and so imagine you're like, nah, that doesn't work for me. The whole gears thing. I mean, I'll use the gears to explain maybe the hours hand and the minute hand, but for the second hand, for the date, I mean, days take a long time to pass. How could that be gears? And so you say, no, I don't think it's gears. I think it might be a quantum event. And imagine how people would look at you. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, hold on. The whole clock thing, like, works with, like, gears and springs and stuff. In these examples, let's say. Um, I get that the seconds, it's like, oh, they're faster than minutes, and I get that, like, days are longer, and so it's like, oh man, how can gears do that? But, like, we know it's the gears that have the minutes and the hours. So, I mean, and also, like, what? How are you going to go from, rather than trying to understand how additional gears make that possible and the interaction between gears, how are you just going to be like, oh, fuck the macro scale, facro, it's got to be something quantum in those gears? That's mind blowing to me. All right, and then the last thing is I just realized something kind of cool, which is, so we have our if then, right? It theory, right? Previously called voice theory, right? So that means every mechanism in the, oh, it's weird. I can't hear myself. Every mechanism in the mind can be formulated as if then. If conditions, if conditions, then consequent. Okay? And what's great about calling the theory if then, not just because of the importance of if then as being, I think, sort of the way it all works, and an importantly different understanding from the way we see minds now. The other piece that's really important is to understand that we're not these magical souls. Um, it's like to start kind of picturing Inside Out, the movie Inside Out, where it's like there's a character representing each emotion, except then imagine few million more, with, and everyone has a very specific task, and they do not do anything else. Just like in Inside Out, the anger guy is not going to be producing sadness or joy or something like that. And they were really cool. They did a really good job of keeping everybody faithful to their roles, because since they're already anthropomorphizing each emotion, it'd be really easy to imagine like anger and sadness and anxiety all being convinced by joy to like chill out, and then them being joyful. But that is not their role. So instead, I think what I remember from the movie is that they would just be quieter. Um, and that's how it works. So you've got all these fuck hell. So anyway, so one thing is the if then, and then the other thing is that let's not anthropomorphize neurons and neural networks. Let's remember they are its. They are objects. You are the sum of a bunch of its. All right, now, if we go into French, it is ça. Okay. Now, if you're, 15 years old and you want to, not type ça, then what you're going to do is you're going to type ça. Okay? And what's really cool about that is that if we use then this spelling of this actual, word, I mean, this is also a word, it means something else, but sometimes it is a spelling of this word. And when we use that, we have SA, so ITSA. The S can stand for si, which is if, and alors stands for then. So in both English and French, you have the double significance of this acronym. And so you can call it ça theory. You can say you're made up of a bunch of sa's, because a ça, and also like Freud, the way that's translated, Freud's id is translated as the ça, the it, in French. So that's pretty cool.